Good morning. Um, well, this is the way that most people like to see animals, happy. But unfortunately, in this country, there's only a few pigs and chickens that ever get to experience such moments of joy or even some basic quality of life. And that's something that outrages me. Factory farming, that's where most of these animals grow up. 500 million, roughly, every year in Australia alone, grow up in small cages or overcrowded sheds. And they are subjected to husbandry procedures that, such as, for example, the cutting off of tails, clipping of their teeth, castration, and cutting off of parts of the beaks of egg-laying hens. And all of this happens without pain relief. Now, if you or I were to do that to a dog or a cat, we would be prosecuted for animal cruelty, and rightly so. But these animals on farms that are raised for our meat and egg production, they don't have the same level of protection from our laws against cruelty. And that is despite the fact that they can suffer pain and fear and stress in exactly the same way. And the only reason that this distinction is made is to be able to produce meat and eggs as cheaply as possible, cheaper than chips. Now, I could have shown you much crueler images than I do here today of daily practices that occur to millions of animals in Australian factory farms. But as it is my birthday, I didn't want to upset you guys too much. People like me who work for animal protection organizations are often portrayed as extremists by the very people that make a living out of treating animals like this. But you don't have to be an animal lover, or you don't need to have a particularly big interest in animals to not want to see them suffer, to not care, to care about them at all. And about a year ago from now, the whole of the nation was outraged when the Four Corners TV program showed how Australian cattle were treated in Indonesian slaughterhouses. And in this outrage, we saw more than 150,000 people writing emails to the Prime Minister and letters. We saw demonstrations that drew bigger crowds than those for or against the carbon tax. The phone lines went down at the Ministry of Agriculture because so many distressed people called in. And Get Up had its fastest growing petition in its history. Now, this showed how much people in Australia care about animals. But what it also showed is that when rage is turned into meaningful action, that it can drive change. And no, we didn't get the end result that we wanted, which is the ban on live exports. Unfortunately, not yet. But we will get there. And in the meantime, at least our animals are treated a little bit better. But animal protection and animal cruelty is not so much about rage. It is much more about compassion. It's about empathy and about understanding. And if we're talking about helping animals in factory farms, it is about becoming informed consumers and about making well-considered choices that are in line with the values that we already hold. Because I don't have to convince anybody that this is wrong. But the problem is that it is hard for people to even contemplate that they may be part of a system that inflicts such kinds of cruelties to animals as a consumer. These images are really hard to stomach. You know, they are upsetting and they are confronting. But sticking our heads in the sand and pretending the problem is not there is not a solution. It might be convenient, but it's never a solution. It won't make these animals' lives any better. And there's this great saying of the author Khaled Hosseini from the book, what's it called? The Kite Runner, which says, it's better to be hurt by the truth than comforted with a lie. And we may want to believe that this is the way that animals grow up on farms. And the factory farming industry is doing a really good job in making us think that this is the way that they look after their animals. You know, they put images of happy chooks on egg cartons and smiley pig faces on delivery vans. But they're hiding the truth in their big sheds, where you and I, as consumers, don't get access to, because they know that nobody will leave a factory farm hungry for a bacon and egg roll. Now, my job at Animals Australia is to uncover this truth, is to show people the reality, and to make them question. If cheaper is crueler, do I still want to buy that product? For most of us, the majority of the people, this question is really easy to answer, but it's much harder to live up to it. But people, consumers, you and I, we are these animals' last line of defense. And we got 22 million solutions to this problem in Australia. Every one of us here is one solution. And these animals need every one of us. I hope you'll be part of making this the future. Thank you.